Now, Thursdays, all World Cup long, I have been joined by A&M legend, Coach G. He is back from Vegas. I'm just saying it out loud sounds pretty awesome. Back from Vegas, joining us inside the Charles Schwab studio. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's good to be back in God's country.
It's freaking me out that we're down to the final weekend. We're down to, and it's weird, we'll talk about that later, 2 matches somehow. A third place match.
Money.
You cannot convince me under any circumstances that 2 countries are going to fight to the end on a third place match. I imagine that there's a lot of people that will get their first start ever in World Cup play in a third place match.
Yeah, and I think a lot of they're billing it as the opportunity for someone to win the Golden Boot, which is the leading scorer, because you've got Mbappe in that game and you've got Harry Kane potentially playing in that game. I don't know if you remember way back, but a long time ago there was a third place game in the NCAA basketball tournament. I mean, I'm going way back, and it was just like, meh. Why are we here? It was almost like
how
torture
can there
to make
be
people
any
do it.
motivation that you spent 4 years, and the teams that tend to play in that are the ones that had one dream, only one dream,
and it wasn't,
and to settle for a third place
game.
match is they're still mentally, it's 4-year hangover. Mm-hmm. They can't avenge themselves for 4 years. This third place match is a reminder of failure. Like, I'm not exaggerating, am I?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think failure. I mean, it's. I think it's a matter of coming up short. But of course, the way it's being played in the media, especially if you were to be in London right now, it's failure, and there's a lot of meltdown going down. Well, same thing with in the suburbs of Paris, there was a lot of meltdown going down after the loss to Spain. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. But again, we've been talking about from the get-go, FIFA is about the dollars, and that's or the euros or the pounds or whatever denomination you deal with. That's what they're all about, and they're going to make money on the match that's going to be played tomorrow at 4:00 here in Texas on Fox. England against
Saturday.
France.
In the third place match Saturday. Yeah.
Sorry, I've lost
we have the
day.
Championship Sunday. That's
Saturday.
what Vegas does to a person.
So
you lose all sense of time and perspective.
It's good to be in a room with windows again. That's nice. And a clock. The whole issue with that game is it's also, I mean, France against England. I mean, you've got a rivalry that goes back hundreds of years. They played a couple wars against each other. Back in revolutionary days for us. So there's a lot. There's still a lot on the line, and that's always going to be bragging rights, across the channel, one way or the other. But it's right now. There's just a lot of sorry folks on both of those camps. Now, on the flip side, both of the semifinal matches were fantastic, I thought. You had Spain, who came out on Tuesday in the match against France. France was everyone's pick. I said it myself.
They were going for their 3rd straight World Cup final.
Correct.
Only happened twice before.
Correct. Having won it the time before, lost in the final in dramatic, in a dramatic way in overtime in 2022, and they were rolling. And they had the thing that made them look unstoppable. Kind of the steamroller type of team coming through was the amount of players that they had in their attack. And Spain is a tricky customer. They're not bigger, faster, stronger than you are, but they are technically, skill-wise, they're at another level. The style they play is perfectly suited to the physical nature that they have and the way that they play in their domestic league in La Liga. So the issue for France was they couldn't get the ball. And when they would win the ball, Spain did such a good job of counter-pressing and getting on top of them and kind of suffocating them. They suffocated them with their own possession when they had it, and they suffocated them with the pressure on the ball when they didn't have it. And it kept their explosive people, Dembele and Mbappe and company, from really being able to break out and get it done. Now, Mbappe had a couple chances, didn't finish them, which, of course, he'll remember for the rest of his life. But more than anything, it was a masterclass by the Spanish coaching staff and by the players, because I think the stat that they were talking about is going into that match, they hadn't lost a match in 37 games. They hadn't lost a match in 37 games. And now, of course, if you go into penalty kicks, they count that as a draw. So, maybe there's an asterisk. But that's a pretty damn impressive side. If you think about that in college football, that means they haven't lost in 3.5 years. And for these guys, it's kind of the way it was. They came in knowing that they could beat France because they had beaten France in the European Championships. They had beaten France in the Euro League, and they just they were very quiet about how they came into the match and took care of business. It really, for anyone who went to the match up in Arlington, it was a real experience. I had a lot of friends who were there. They said it was just fantastic.
And then the other half.
The other half is the game yesterday.
England with late heartbreak, and that is their phrase, late heartbreak.
Okay.
Yesterday at the station, talking to Ryan next door, and I told him, I don't care if Argentina's down 2-0 with a minute left, they're going to win. I guarantee. You can go talk to him, G. Walk across the studios.
I totally believe it.
And hey, they're down 1-0 with like 5 minutes left, and they win 2-1, scoring what? The winning goal with 2 minutes in the stoppage time.
So here's Argentina in the knockout stage against Cabo Verde. 3-2, they win in overtime. Winner on an own goal in the 111th minute. Next round,
How do you get
they play
111
Egypt.
minutes, G? Come on.
Well, it was overtime.
I know.
And so then Egypt, 3-2 after trailing 2-0 with 11 minutes to go. There's your phrase for going into it. Enzo Fernandez winner in the 90th plus 2 minutes. I mean, a lot of eyebrows came up on that one. Switzerland, 3-1 in overtime. Julian Alvarez with a winner in the 112th minute. And then, of course, yesterday against England, 2-1, trailing 1-0 with 5 minutes to go. And you've got Martinez with the winner in the 90th plus 2 on an assist from Messi. And by the way, Messi is all left foot, except on this assist, it was a right-footed cross. Pinpoint against England had stacked their defense. And again, there's a lot to be said about the way that you don't defend a lead. Now, so they brought in, at the time they had 6 defenders on the team. They took out midfielders, they took out forwards in the last 5 minutes to try to protect this 1-0 lead. And it's the exact same thing as against Tom Brady going into prevent defense. You're going to prevent yourself from winning, and that's what happened. Now, they did a similar tactic against Mexico down at Azteca, but in that game they're down a player, so it's almost like just batten down the hatches, and we're going to bail water until we can get this boat over the finish line. And they did. They played with incredible courage in that match, but against the best player in the world and against the number 1 team in the world, the defending world champions, who have proven time and time again you don't count them out when the chips are down. And man, they did it again.
That's just unbelievable. And again, called it before it started. And I remember when England went up 1-0, I said, it doesn't matter. I told it just doesn't matter. I knew that was going to play out. And I said, they could be down 2-0, 2 minutes to go. They're going to win 3-2. And do you buy into any of the conspiracy stuff online?
You mean about the referees and about FIFA and all that stuff? Well,
that Argentina was predestined to be in the finals no matter what happened.
I think that there is a strong case for that because, again, FIFA, just in mentioning FIFA, you
get dirty, need a shower.
Yeah. I mean, after in 2014 or 15, when it was announced that Qatar was going to host the 22 World Cup instead of the United States, everyone's like going, how many bags of gold were dished out for that? Because you knew it was so obvious of what was going on. The FBI gets involved. All these things that happened with that. So corruption, anytime corruption is involved with FIFA, I don't think many people are saying, oh, no, that could never happen. It's like, maybe so. Especially when you've got arguably the best player of all time at the end of his career, his last World Cup. He's right now leading the Golden Boot. He's having this. I mean, really, he stepped up to the challenges. But it's incredible what people can do when they have time on their hands, and it's incredible what they can do with AI, with some of the memes and everything online. It's freaking hilarious.
It's fun.
It is.
It's truly fun.
Unless it's against me, it's all great. And so it really, I mean, there's one of, Messi being knocked down in the corner flag and, Infantino, the president of FIFA, jumping onto the field and helping him up and pushing the other guy away. It's kind of the way it was. At least that was the appearance, especially in the Egyptian game, which, now is a couple games ago. And it'll be pushed into people's kind of distant memory a little bit. But, in the end, the game on Sunday is going to be a great game because you've got you have the champions of Europe, Spain. You've got the champions of South America, Argentina, in a clash, playing in New York, New Jersey, the center of the media world. It's going to be a phenomenal match.
Something, again, for me, the casual, the average fan looking at this, very chalky. We had all the Cinderellas. We had the Casa Verde. We had all the exciting things that happened, right? Very chalky. These are the teams you said from the start, the Final Four.
Well, yeah, but but as any great drama goes, there were these. Cabo Verde is the best example of.
There was tons of Cinderella highlight, shocking, fun moments along the way.
New
March
stars.
Madness. I keep this. For me, the comparison, and this was so March Madness, it's unreal. But in the end, chalky.
That's right. In the end, it's the people who are going to put the most butts in the seats of eyes on televisions that were in the semifinals and now arguably in the final as well. And even the third place match is a game that a lot of people are going to watch, even if it's just, over their Bordeaux or their
even if it's a faux friendly
or their lager. Yeah. So it has been a great World Cup. It really has. And it's been, like I said, I've said this before, I think it's the best World Cup that I've seen in my lifetime. So going back, more than 40-something years of watching these games, and being invested in them, it's been phenomenal to see. And again, I think, so is the United States a soccer country? We're one of them. I mean, it's not our identity, but I think our identity to the rest of the world has been cleaned up quite a bit in the last month to 5 weeks.
Like, I have no clue. You are so much more qualified to speak to our soccer identity. I think our identity as a country has been cleaned up.
Yep.
All the misconceptions about the ugly Americans or what the heck the United States is.
Well, I think
has been so cleaned up.
I think part of that is because you've had games in the heartland. You've had games in Kansas City, and people fell in love with Kansas, whether it's Kansas City barbecue or whether it's the fact that that's where Argentina was based and England was in that area, and just the people, just being Midwesterners. They're friendly, open-armed people. And then you've got two sites in Texas, and even in Atlanta. The South, of just the hospitality, the friendliness, the hey, howdy, how are y'all doing? That I think kind of put a lot of internationals back on their back foot initially, and then they really embraced it. And then you've got great new stars like Erling Haaland, who's anyone who's been watching football for a while knows Erling Haaland with Man City and before that with Dortmund is going to be one of, if not the biggest superstar in the world. But the fact that he has a great media presence and, he's getting off the plane back in Norway and he's got a taxidermist stuffed raccoon drinking whiskey out of it's like, where'd you get that? Oh, I got that in Texas. And find out that he has a collection of these types of things. It's perfect. It's great stories of just, hey, these people are just as nutty as we are.
Great story. Did you see about Tom Holland, the actor?
I haven't seen this.
Okay, Spider-Man.
Right.
He's in whatever.
English.
Christopher Nolan, the Odyssey that's coming out. He texted the Norway star, and he said, like, I want to meet you or whatever, right?
Right.
And this is humbling because he is currently kind of like the number one actor in the world when you take a look at what he's in and everything, or the number one rising. And he never got back to him because he didn't know who he was.
Funny. That's hilarious.
So
That's hilarious.
He's like, I admire his soccer play, and he looks like he's fun. So he's like texting him, look, need to hang, let's say hi or whatever. No, I don't know who you are. So two different worlds, right?
Well, he had his eye on the ball, as they would say. He wasn't distracted by the fact that somebody gave him a social account on this platform, that platform. He just had fun with it. But when it was game time, game time. And one of the big criticisms of the Norwegians is they took him out in crunch time against the English. They get through
or the pass that he never got received.
Exactly.
Oh man, the replay on that I've seen 100,000 times.
Yep. Yeah, and it was there. The passing lane was there, and he just missed it.
Well, the guy was looking at his feet.
Yep.
He didn't see the passing lane.
Yep.
Do you see very often where the attacker looks straight at his feet?
Of course.
And not at the passer? Or
of course. Well, again, it's one of the things that one of the kind of the hidden facts of this is that these players are so good. The Spanish are so good. The Argentinians are so good with the ball at their feet. The French as well. Olise is unbelievable. They make it look a lot easier than it is. And the fact that you're saying, oh, well, he had his head down at his feet. Well, yeah, because most humans have got to they got to find the ball, have that touch, and then look up. And it's usually snap, that's how long it takes. Well, these guys are playing on a half a snap. And the ability to bring balls down, the ability to make it look as easy as they have, again, it's the simple is genius. They make it look simple, and that's genius.
We'll be right back. Coach G, A&M legend, inside the Charles Schwab studio. We've been talking World Cup each Thursday here on the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric, here on The Zone.
The Money Machine. Back to school. It's your chance to win $5,000, and it starts July 27th.
Thank you so much.
It is the Louie Bellina Show. It is Thursday. It is lunchtime, thanks to Rudy's Barbecue. Gee, I got something. This is entertainment purposes, okay? I saw this like Monday. I almost called you, but I said, all right, he's hanging out with me anyway. There was this survey. They asked the average Joe if they think they could score a World Cup goal.
Oh, okay.
Okay? They asked if they could score a professional goal against a professional goalkeeper by converting a penalty kick. So, on the 0 to 100% scale, what would your gut tell you? What do you think would be the percent that the average person could score on a professional goalkeeper?
I would say probably about maybe 40%. They should score. So a professional player, unless they're doing tippy-tap, crazy, stupid stuff going up to it,
okay,
then they should score on at least 90% of the shots that they take. So for
average Joe,
we'll cut that a little bit in half for average Joe, because the goal's 24 feet wide and 8 feet tall, and the goalkeeper can only cover so much of it.
So in the survey, only 28% of people believe they can.
Good.
28.
Modest. That's modest. That's
the
good.
Younger you were, the more confident you were.
Yep.
No joke, right?
Yep.
43% of Gen Zers believe they can beat a World Cup goalie. 37% of millennials, 26% Gen X, and then you hit the boomers at 12%. They move a little slower.
Yep.
I really, in my own head,
So do you think you could score?
no.
Okay.
Kicking a soccer ball is hard. It's okay. The soccer ball stands there. It doesn't move.
Yep.
It's not actually that easy to kick a soccer ball. It's easier to kick it wrong than it is right.
Well, it goes along with the whole, every Saturday morning during, Game Day Live, you've got McAfee out there with some, usually young buck who's going to kick a 35-yard field goal, 30-yard field goal. That
It looks
seems easy. It seems easy, and they come up and they'll shank it. They'll kick it, a foot and a half off the ground. They'll shank it left, right. Sometimes they'll make it. It's why he's putting so much money on it. But again, like I said before, one of the key things to people who are watching this for the first time is how easy these guys make it look, and the amount of time, the years, the toil, in the harshest of conditions. Because if you look at Argentina is the best example. There are guys, their way of getting out. You look at basketball. It's sometimes some of the best players are coming from the roughest background. They're not coming from Highland Park, and they're not coming from the most posh places in the world. They're using this sport as a way of getting out of a life that maybe their family has had to live, and to bring their family out of it. And that's definitely what you see with a lot of these teams, all countries. It's no joke that some of the best players have come from the roughest backgrounds.
It's funny. We talked about that last week, and then all of a sudden over the weekend, I saw 15-page articles, like I think on The Athletic about it, just saying what you said, exactly what you said about, the problem at USA, and people just speaking up to the exact thing that we make access to youths too hard to everyone. That's the basic concept. We make access to everyone too hard.
Probably.
There's the economic disparity, but not everyone can play soccer.
But we also have something that other places don't, in that we have scholastic sports. And scholastic sports are, if you're in the public school system and your public school system has that sport, that's access that sometimes we don't get. Now, I'll say that with youth soccer, that oftentimes it's frowned upon to play for your high school because it takes away from where you're paying your money to play. And
by that time, how long have you already been, though, in youth soccer?
Correct.
Before you ever get to high school.
14 years old.
But how long have you already been with your youth club?
You've been playing with the youth club since you were 10.
Right.
And you've been playing, wherever before that.
And if you got to wait till high school to get into soccer, you're already way
No, but what I'm saying
out
is,
of track.
What I'm saying is that it would be the from 40,000 feet, it's a good way to polish up the game. But in effect, you've got to have the system before that, and you've got to have the access, and you've got to have the coaching, and you've got to have, and sometimes you got to have the hardness, because the issue on a lot of youth soccer and youth sports is us parents. Sometimes us parents, if it's not right for us, we're moving on. If we're not winning, damn it, I'm moving to somewhere else who's quote better. And it's, again, you put the best players, best athletes on a team, you're going to be successful to an extent. And that's where you can see where, again, I'll point back to the Spanish. These guys are so smooth with the ball. They move the ball so quickly. They smother you with possession. They smother you in pressure when they don't have it. And that takes a lot of time. And it's a system built for specifically for that type of player.
Before we leave this poll, there was a separate poll.
Oh, good.
19% of Americans think they'd probably score if they were called for a penalty kick in the World Cup, specifically in the World Cup. So Americans are even less confident than the people that were thinking on a professional goalie. Yep. But 19% of Americans think they can score in the World Cup on a penalty kick.
Bless their hearts.
Bless those 19%. Good luck.
Well, I mean,
and the Germans couldn't even find 5 people that wanted to take a kick.
Right. Lionel Messi's missed his last 2 penalties. So it's a little tougher than maybe it's sold as.
The championship is Sunday. Who's going to win? Who are you taking?
Well, I'm taking. I'm going to go with the idea that my mother-in-law is from Madrid, so Vamos España is the way that I'll look at it. And again, I think that we can't lose on this. I'm not a huge fan of the style with which the Argentinians. There's a lot of dodgy stuff going on, little late touches here, pushes in the back. And not to say that other teams don't do that, but I look at the Spanish as being a little bit more pure, and I'll put the white hat on those guys. So
help me here. I think I'm having a flashback, but then again, maybe I'm just tired. And didn't Spain open World Cup play with the 1-1 tie? And was it 1-1 and the world was ending and they were done?
Cabo Verde,
right?
The big winner.
And it was over though. Yeah. We could have wrote Spain off and got our money back on the gambling, but here they are, and you're picking them to win it all.
That's right. Well, 4 years ago, the champions, Argentina, they lost their opening match to Saudi Arabia. Things worked out. And just like in a lot of, again, the NCAA basketball tournament is the best analogy for a lot of people. It's those teams that, survive and advance and grow into the tournament, and they get better. Every week they get better and better and better and better. And that's exactly what both of these teams have done. Spain has been a team that has been like just this growing snowball coming down the mountain. And Argentina are, whether you say they've got someone's thumb on the weights or not, they're a team that you never count them out, because they are the little engine that could. Well, by the way, that are also world champions.
They have the talent to score at any moment, which is why they're never out until the 190th minute, when they finally say, "We've given you all the time we can," because 111th, huh? I'm sorry. That's
well, and for Spain, one of the things about Spain is they're not just a ticky-tack, bing, 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 bing team. With Lamine Yamal up front, they have that electricity. They have that lightning bolt that can break away. Whenever he gets the ball on the right wing, you can see people's butts tighten up a little bit, like, oh God, here we go. If you're playing against them, and immediately 3 guys are drawn over to him, which means other people are open somewhere on the pitch. And the way that the Spanish move off the ball, they do a great job of utilizing those open options. And he's a great story unto himself. And he seems to be a very modest 19-year-old superstar, but they have, with him and Olazabal up front, has been banging in goals. They're really a lot of fun to watch, and they're a team that their midfield with Rodri and them. It's neat to see. I hope people enjoy the match. It might be a 1-0 final. It very well could be, but there's going to be it's going to be a 3-dimensional chess game throughout the match.
1-0, 2-1, 3-1. Where are we going with this?
Frankly, I'd love for it to be 4-3 and wide open. I don't see that happening. But if it's if let's say it's 2-2 going into it, you got to like Argentina in the last 15 minutes, no matter what the score is. It could be 1-2, it could be 0-1, and Argentina chasing again, and we'll see. I mean,
but that's it. Where it seems like they're the most comfortable.
Yeah,
it's right where they want you.
Yeah, if it's like you remember back to Survive and Advance, and the thing of we got them right where we want them. We were losing. That's where we wanted them, and that's a little bit of what you see with these guys. Now they would prefer to play from the get-go, get an early goal, and run away with it. Spain, I think, has only given up 1 or 2 goals the entire tournament. So they're a team that, again, because of what they do with each other, for each other. Both these teams that way. Lionel Messi, people talk about how, well, he walks around 70 to 80% of the game. It's like, yeah, he does. But his team is bought into that's okay because he brings magic where we need the magic, when we need the magic. And we're going to cover from here because he's not only is he, at the top of the board on the golden goal for scoring, but he's also, I think he's got 11 assists. I mean, so he's dishing it out. He's not just, give me the ball and get out of the way.
You mean that's your job?
He plays. He's a great teammate, and he's been every bit of the superstar that has been billed.
Would Argentina know what to do if they're up 1-0 with 5 minutes to go? Would they have had no practice?
Yeah, they're as good masters of the dark arts as anybody, and so they are one of these. I mean, unless I'm saying a little bit of the dark arts against England. England was constantly complaining because of the late hits, the nudges here, the little push you off balance here. So.
Chippy.
They're not. There's no angel halos around them right now.
If they're up 1-0 at 5 to go, I'm going to take Spain. Yeah, I'm going to go the other way. I'm just going to say it because it can't work both ways. We'll visit again next Thursday.
Sounds great.
We got to do a wrap on this World Cup. I say thank you every time because it's just been so much fun talking World Cup with you. And we've been lucky because we've had the greatest World Cup ever to talk about. It's been perfect, man.
Yep. I'll tell you what, change the subject for only a second. NCAA women's soccer started their preseason yesterday. Aggie soccer is off and running. Bobby and the crew, I know they did a beep test yesterday. I think they played this morning.
A beep test?
A fitness test.
Oh, thank you. I was like, beep, what, they all got like horns on them or what?
No,
I had no idea what you were going with this.
Fitness test. And they have an exhibition. I believe they have an exhibition next Wednesday.
Holy cow! Already?
Keep an eye on that out at Ellis Field
in July. It's an exhibition.
Exactly.
The world has changed, man.
Well, it's all. No, sorry, that's not next week. It's the 5th. So
at least it's August.
Two Wednesdays from now. But they are. Again, we were able to get the NCAA season expanded by 2 weeks. No more games, but just to try to spread out the time between matches. And then also with the preseason, we were able to expand it from 16 to 28 days. Same idea. So you don't have to go back-to-back, 2 a day. And,
it's a football schedule.
Well, and because there's so many injuries early in the season, especially on women's soccer, it's a way to kind of slowly ramp things up. And we had something like this in 2020 with COVID, we didn't know when the season was going to start. So it ended up being almost a month preseason leading into it. And I can tell you, from a coach's standpoint, it was glorious. It was fantastic. We didn't have to do 2-a-days, and that ended up being another one of our championships, another one of our SEC championships, specifically because we were able to slowly bring things in, keep our players healthy, and I'm hoping that that'll be the case this year, not just for A&M, but for everyone around the country.
Got to assume it increased the quality of the practice time in the preseason.
I think so, and I hopefully more enjoyment for the players.
Thank you, G.
Thanks, buddy.
When we return, I don't have a clue. We'll figure it out together. This is the Louie Bellina Show inside the Charles Schwab studio, Thursday on the Zone.
The Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. Don't ask unless you want the truth, because you can't handle the truth. Weekdays, 11 to 2 on the Zone.
I don't know what's more valuable than an air conditioner in Texas in the summer. Maybe you should get your air conditioner checked out. Why wait until something goes bad? Maybe you already know your air conditioner, it doesn't work at 100%, and then you're wasting money on the electric bill. I, last week, had adventures in air conditioning. It was a complete and utter nightmare. You do not have to live it, too. Still Creek Mechanical. Aggie-owned, operated. They've been serving the Brazos Valley for over 20 years. You can go to stillcreekmechanical.com, schedule your AC consultation. Maybe you already know I need help. StillCreekMechanical.com. And guess what? They, Still Creek Mechanical, will give you $100 off of repairs just by saying, I know the Zone. I know the Louie Bellina Show. Louie Bellina. Mention any of those, and guess what? $100 off repairs. Go to StillCreekMechanical.com, or of course you can always call 979-595-4253. 979-595-4253. $100 off of repairs. Louie Bellina Show, the Zone. Just mention it. And guess what? They'll take care of you at Still Creek Mechanical. I want to go Astros, Rangers, All-Star break because the trade went down yesterday. And we mentioned it was happening. It was all but done, but it went final. Lance McCullers is a Milwaukee Brewer. Colton Gordon is a Milwaukee Brewer. The why? Clearing money. The Astros still had to pay some of Lance McCullers' contract, but they cleared money is why. The story goes like this. Jim Crane went up to Lance McCullers over the past couple of days and said, hey, would you waive your no-trade clause? I'm going to tell you something. The last 2 years for Lance McCullers, the injuries stole him of what he may have had left. And you know, everybody critical. I was, because it was done. I thought the best thing they could have done is tried him in the pen. Bring him back as a starter was a mistake. He just didn't have it. But Lance McCullers, again, 2017, the Yankees and Game 7. And I keep hearing he's either 22 or 24 straight curveballs. Single-handedly, that performance responsible for that World Series, for the dynasty. And he was a great Astro. He loved the city of Houston. Go back through socials and look at his quotes. And he even said after he was traded, I'm still Houston. My family's Houston. We're going to be back in Houston. He just loved the city. And this is business. And the fact he said he agreed because he didn't want to hold back the Astros from contending. Like, even in this moment, he did what was best for the team and the organization. Holy cow. I look forward to the day where he comes back as special consultant, color guy for radio, Astros ambassador. I don't know what his future will be, but it'll be in Houston. It'll be with the Astros in the end. It just, it had to end this way, right? What did the Astros get back? It was about the money. Minor league outfielder, designated hitter, Jaden Fielder, son of former Brewer star Prince Fielder, grandson of Cecil Fielder. I don't want to feel old, but yeah, I watched Cecil. I watched Prince, and now his, good Lord, third generation Jaden. And the Brewers are covering about 2.5. Money, money, money. That was the whole point of this trade. And the deal for this, I think, really comes down to Colton Gordon and what they think they might be able to do with him. Because I don't think, they're counting on Lance McCullers to put them over the top. this year. But Lance McCullers, great Astro. Phenomenal Astro. Yeah, the ending, not what anybody wanted, or he wouldn't be traded, but he was such a key part of the dynasty. That moment, Game 7 Yankees, defining. Major League Baseball All-Star break. I'm not sure if you caught this, but you know what the next challenge system it appears they want to introduce? Check, swing, replay reviews. Check, swing, replay reviews. Something fascinating. Did you know that the Major League Baseball rule book actually doesn't have a definition of how far a hitter must go in order for it to be determined as a swing? And I thought that was insane, but if you check the rule book, Rule 8.02c, there actually isn't a hard definition. It's so bizarre. It doesn't actually, and on TV, and for those of us who watch baseball, we've always thought we actually had. So I guess you could say it's the unwritten rule of what a swing is. But the rule book, 45 degrees, if the barrel is judged to have traveled more than 45 degrees past its final stopping point, then it's judged a swing. If it moves less, it's not a swing, is kind of what we use. But the rule book, a lot hazier, and I think they would have to define that. Then we could use replay. What's odd, if I'm the players, I think I would oppose and fight this. I think I would have to fight and oppose this. I'm not kidding when I say that. I think players swing more than they ever thought they would. I think players go all the time. And look, we take tape, run it through using the definition, look at the data, and then the players can make a decision. I wouldn't want a replay, an auto system, take the umpires out because players go more often than they think. And I think it'd be bad for the hitters. I would probably fight this to the death if I was the players because they go all the time and it doesn't even get appealed or checked. That's my personal gut instinct. Home Run Derby was this week. Greatest home run derby ever. Greatest home run derby ever. Something that was fun. Do you know when was the last time your favorite team had a home run derby participant? The last time? We know it was in the home run derby this year. Do you know who was the last Houston Astro to participate in the home run derby? Kyle Bregman. Kyle Bregman was the last Houston Astro to participate in the home run derby. And that was a while ago now. Man, the home run derby when it was in Houston was pretty awesome. I believe it was what Jeff Bagwell put on the story there. The Alex Bregman, representing the Astros is 2019. The last Texas Ranger, I think you could get this one, but it was Adolis Garcia. Adolis Garcia. So that was the last time for Astros Rangers. But Alex Bregman, 2019 Astros, and Adolis Garcia for the Texas Rangers. Something else that was fun for me. Longest home runs ever hit in a home run derby. Formerly, one of my favorite players in the history of Major League Baseball, Sammy Sosa. He hit a ball 524 feet in 2002. He also bashed one 525-14, like insane, but yeah, that cork bat, which was undeniable, the steroids, formerly favorite player Sammy Sosa, 524, longest in home run derby history. Juan Soto, 2021, pounded one 520. Frank Thomas in 94, 519. Josh Hamilton, 2008, 518. Trevor Story, 21. A lot of recent homers. Trevor Story, 518. And then that's top five. That's enough. Those are your longest home runs in home run derby history. After the top 7 is what they listed, then you have this small army of guys that went 513. No idea why that's a common number. Like, was the home run reading chart thing broken? Because 513 is the common number. Don't know. How many people watch the Home Run Derby? Be honest. I didn't watch it live, but I know the next morning with all the buzz, had to go catch all the highlights, watch them on repeat. The third deck shot was pretty epic. It was a great Home Run Derby. But I don't have Netflix, and I'm not going to turn it on to watch the Home Run Derby. And I don't know if I could sit through the 2-3 hours. You know, Will Ferrell being a part of the Home Run Derby is not something on my bingo card. Not going to say I hate it, but yeah, the highlights were better. I enjoyed that version. It was highly entertaining to me. Up next, we end the lunch hour. Up ahead, Rusty Burson at 1 o'clock on the D4 Land Services Hotline. That's all still to come here on the Louie Bellino Show on the Zone. If you need your land fixed up, go check out d4landservices.com. You need your land cleared, land excavated, check out d4landservices.com. And if we're talking about forestry, mulching, pond construction, check out d4landservices.com. I'll be back.
The Money Machine. The Money Machine. The Money Machine. Back to school. Your next chance to win $5,000 begins July 27th.
That's unbelievable.
At zone1150.com.